This is one of Nigeria's biggest nights as President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, GCFR, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, hosts Nigeria's top 100 businesses to an honorable night. If you are on the top 100 in Nigeria, this is what you get for community impactation, for CSR projects, for being a developmental partner of Nigeria. This is what the presidency does. Now, this is an initiative of the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment to honor all those, especially the top 10 and the top 100 businesses in Nigeria who have partnered with the country to move Nigeria forward. Now, we are talking about different companies, not only listed on the stock market, but companies that range from one industry to the other. Talking about the oil and gas companies, the banking sectors, the conglomerates, the manufacturers, the oil and gas companies, and every other one. It has been a very, very successful night. A pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you, madam.
Yes, sir. What do you think of this successful night?
This is one of those initiatives and innovations that have been done by His Excellency Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Yes, despite our security challenges, we as a nation, led by this gentleman, are resolved to make sure we provide the impetus, the necessary political will and the footprint so that we can have a launching pad for a major industrial revolution so that we can continue to be the #1 economy in the world, making sure we do reforms, we give some institutional reforms, and of course do things that is in tandem with the global best practice so that Nigeria can continue to occupy that position that it is occupying today, and even exceed our own personal expectation as ourselves as a nation.
I have Mrs. Bola Shagaya, one of Nigeria's most celebrated and respected, corporate business giants. I'm talking about one of our most celebrated top corporate lady here in Nigeria. Now, top 100 businesses in Nigeria. It has been a successful evening, obviously. What is your idea? What do you think of the whole initiative?
I'm just so happy to be one of the listed companies to be, and for a woman, it's an achievement. At least we've not been marginalized. I've been able to represent my women food, and it was a beautiful evening, and we all had fun. I'm proud to be part of it.
Mr. Ben Bruce on the show, and we are talking Silverbird Live here on Top 100 Businesses in Nigeria. So what do you think of this awesome initiative?
First of all, President Jonathan has the right idea. First of all, he recognizes the top 100 businesses in the country, and therefore everybody wants to be in the top 100. And those in it don't want to leave. Guys are going to try to get in, and those in it are going to stay. So I think it's great. I think the next area we should look at is how many jobs each business create, how much taxes they pay, what they gross, and how they can have a direct benefit to the economy. I'm very excited about it. I'm happy to be here. We're leaders in our sector, but more important, I'm happy for what this administration is doing and what President Jonathan is doing to get the private sector to work with the government to have a more prosperous nation.
Thank you for joining us, sir. So what do you think of the whole evening, sir?
I think it's a very, very good initiative of government. The president to have thought it fit to recognize and reward excellence, people who have confidence in this country and have made investment. I think it's very good, and I think it's going to serve as an encouragement for more investment in this country.
Finally, the top 100 businesses in Nigeria event has come to an end. It has been a very, very momentous night as we have witnessed a lot of top corporate giants from every different single sector in the country, all in one place. Every single sector you can imagine, talking about the airlines, oil and gas business, corporate entities, banks, manufacturing companies, and everything. I have the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Nigeria, on the show. Thank you so much, sir. Yes, sir. This has been one of Nigeria's most successful evening. We have Nigeria's top 100 developmental partners all in one place, and this is an initiative of your ministry. What brought about this, sir?
If you look at it, Nigeria today is not what it used to be. Today we have a country that has the largest economy in Africa. We have a country where that has attracted most investments in Africa, the number one destination for investment in Africa. Today we have a country that has the largest, or one of the largest, cement plants in the world. We have a country that has the largest feed mill in sub-Saharan Africa, a country that has the largest oil and gas rich zone in the country. So what that means is that Nigeria actually has done so, our businessmen have done so well, and the idea is to be able to identify them and recognize them properly and make sure that we set the benchmark and they inspire others. It's also to encourage them to, of course, invest more in the country and employ more people in the country.
I have Mr. Jim Obaze on the program, and he is the chief executive of the committee, the business committee actually, that put together the top 100 businesses in Nigeria. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. How long did it take to put together the research for this fantastic evening?
Excellent question. This was a tight program. We spent about 6 weeks to put this together.
6 weeks?
Yes.
And what were the criteria? How would I get on the top 100 businesses in Nigeria list?
Excellent question. Internationally, this is not new altogether. You've heard of Fortune 500, you heard of SPARE 500. Even in South Africa, they have top 100 and 10 SOEs, state-owned enterprises. But in Nigeria, we're starting with top 100. And we first of all initially fished through the international benchmark, which you see with the International Integrated Reporting Council. There are 5 benchmarks. And then we look at other criteria that will be applicable to Nigeria. But for this first edition, because of the tightness of the schedules, we reduced it to majorly turnover. Yes. So
it was turnover that was the major factor?
Yes.
Okay. And how would you rate the success of this evening?
We will go back and do a review, but we congratulate ourselves because this is like a trial version. Don't forget that the entities involved, we took them by surprise. They were not really expecting it. But going forward, I think a number of them will have to engage a compliance officer who will help them to be able to deal with the issues, because next year it will be a complete different thing. A number of these entities you see may not be on the table next year.
I have Mrs. Fumi Obwe on the program, and she is the MD CEO of Jake Riley Limited. Now, she has been a consultant to the initiative talking about top 100 businesses in Nigeria, as well as the organizer of this successful event. Congratulations on a wonderful day.
Thank you very much.
It has been great. I mean, everywhere was oozing with power, and you could see MD CEOs shoulder to shoulder. It was a fantastic evening. Talk to me a bit about top 100 businesses in Nigeria.
It was conceptualized by the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment to encourage, recognize and reward the businesses that are sustaining and growing the Nigerian economy. He's very passionate about the economic revolution that we need in this country, about diversifying the economy, and about growing the industrial revolution. So this initiative is meant to identify and encourage those who are already participating and working in these areas. Yeah. So.
Now, talk to me about the business, assessment committee.
The Business Assessment Committee was, of course, after the minister conceptualized the idea, he put together this committee, the Business Assessment Committee, made up of CEOs and DGs of parastatals under the ministry, such as Bank of Industry, Financial Reporting Council, NEPSA, NIPC, obviously ourselves, representatives from the ministry, ITF, and the FIRS, to look at all the companies holistically in the country that are registered and doing business and identify those that are the very largest. Okay. Obviously we're in our 100th year, and so it was symbolic too, because some people have asked, why not 90, why not 10, why not 20? But it was symbolic 100. We're in our 100th year. will identify those top 100 companies that are not only the largest in terms of revenue, but are also the most corporate socially responsible companies. And so the committee was set up. We broke into subcommittees, and we looked widely at data from the Financial Reporting Council, data from CAC, from the FIRS, which is the tax authorities, and just poured through loads of data, and finally arrived at which ones were the very top. And here we are today, celebrating them, recognizing them. And as you say, there was probably 90% attendance. There was so much interest from the private sector. It'd never been done before in the history of the country. And everyone thought, about time. This is not a bad initiative at all. This is, in fact, a very good initiative. So they've all turned up. We're very glad that it's happened. It's went very well. And we look forward to next year. But having said that, this is not a standalone. The dinner is a very important element of the initiative, but it's not the only thing. We also have we've produced a video which goes into a bit more depth about their operations. A sneak preview of the video was played at the event today, but we intend to roll it out, finalize it, roll it out properly in the next, before the next event, the next year. We also would produce a comfortable book that would be like a compendium of the top 100 companies in Nigeria. So it would have content around their operations, their turnover, their management, their plans for the future, and the description of their current operations. So that book was unveiled here as well, but we would fully develop it and roll it out in the coming year. The third thing that we're doing is developing an online portal, which is like a knowledge sharing portal where we encourage professors and university academia to write case studies on these companies, and also for the companies themselves to publish knowledge that they've gained within their operations. We've got the platform, now we need to populate it. So this is an initiative that is alive. It's meant to, for the first time, gather the private sector, the top 100 companies in a holistic manner, to encourage them to do more. And also the ones that are not on the list this year, you have a chance next year.
This has been one of Nigeria's most successful evening as the presidency, honors Nigeria's top 100 businesses to a night of recognition and honor. Basically, this has been a major initiative of the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. His Excellency President Ebele Goodluck Jonathan, the President of Nigeria, was here in attendance himself to flag off this great event. And in attendance, we have seen the major MDs of major industries. We have seen, the MD CEOs, the presidents, the chairmen of major sectors that has made the Nigerian, developmental process happen. I'm talking about major companies, that we use their products on a day-to-day basis. Talking about companies from the banking sector, from the oil and gas industry. We're talking about companies from manufacturing. We are talking about conglomerates. We're talking about every single major sector here. And they're all here tonight to make this a night of honor. I'm quite sure that a lot of people are quite happy that they get to be on the top 100 list. Only God knows what the person who is on 101 would feel like. So the basic idea is everybody's going to try to make sure that every single year they still continue to fit into the 100 top businesses in Nigeria. I personally must say I'm happy to be here to report this live to you on GMA, and it has been a fantastic, fantastic evening, I must say. I look forward to what happens next year.
You are our shining stars. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the evening. Thank you very much.